Love that sound. I gotta stop doing that. Where were you 5 minutes ago? Let me get this. God! Come on! And here we go. So why were you driving Fred's car?
Mine's in the shop. I had it a couple weeks ago.
Oh, we're on. Hi everybody, welcome to Mergy Movies. I'm Big Mike.
And I'm Berry.
And it's Action Month here on Mergy Movies, as you can tell with my sudden attack out there, and I'm glad I had backup.
I came when I could.
True. You came at the right moment, I guess. Oh, well, anyway, moving on. The movie for this month that we're showing is Die Hard with Bruce Willis. So, Die Hard takes place in LA high-rise. Your typical badass, no-holds-barred cop, played by Bruce Willis, is visiting his wife over Christmas holidays, and there happens to be a bunch of terrorists that invade the building at the time. Yeah, so Fergie, what do you think of this movie?
Okay, yeah, typical 80s action movie.
Yeah.
Corny lines, lots of overly exaggerated gun battles and explosions and corny lines. I said that already, but it's true. But yeah, other than that, it's a fun movie. It's type of thing, you know, you sit there on Saturday afternoon, you turn on TBS, and then bang, there it is. You know, it's an alright movie. I've always liked it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's your typical 80s, you know, early 90s action movie. Like you said, there's just violence, gun battles, no reason for nudity. It's like a horror movie when it comes to that. The badass cop that takes no prisoners, you know, and yeah, it's your typical action movie. It's like you said, it's something to just sit around and watch at home when you're flipping through channels or whatever. Nothing else much to say. It's a good action movie. It's very entertaining. Some people are thrown off by the title. You know, it's extreme. It's Die Hard, and then Die Harder, and all those other ones. Very corny, obviously, but nonetheless, a pretty decent movie when it comes to action. Don't expect Oscar-worthy performances here. It's just to sit around and watch people kill each other. Nature at its best.
Yeah, I mean, I've always, like, we always, at my family, we always used to watch, like, these movies, Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, all those movies.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're lame, they're cheesy, but they're an interesting show.
Die Hard is one of those movies. It's not bad. It's action. That's all you should get from it. That's pretty much what it's
What it is it's a summer blockbuster.
Exactly. It's a summer blockbuster of the, you know, late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah. It's like a Transformers nowadays is what it is.
Exactly.
Just lots of inexplicable action, hot chicks, half naked, all this stuff. You know, just a guy movie. That's all it is.
Exactly. And the thing about these movies is that they don't have much of these types left, I've noticed. There's not that much of these type of actions left. It's mostly, you know, like giant robots or superheroes. I mean, I like that stuff. But sometimes it's refreshing to have, you know, just some guy kicking ass and taking names.
Yeah, that's not based on material because you get stuff like The Punisher or stuff like that. That's just and honestly, it comes down to the guy. Just have some guy write a story.
Exactly. They're really easy. Like, I mean, very corny action. I love the Transporter series. I haven't seen 3 yet, but I love the Transporter series. I know it's really corny, but I just love the way Jason Statham just kicks people's asses. It's great. Like, and taking the car bomb off with
A crane or something.
yeah,
like
just
that.
something elaborate. And anyone who can kick someone's ass with a fire hose.
That was awesome. I don't.
I know.
Somebody like wraps
I
it
know.
all around it. And
I think
turns it
I
on.
think right after this, I'm gonna have to watch it pretty soon here just because of that. But no, it's fun to watch those types of movies. And yeah, there's not that much left. But one recently that came out a couple years ago, which I really liked, was just one of those movies, is Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon.
Yes.
I love that movie. It was gory. The action was over the top, but it was edge of your seat thriller. Kevin Bacon, great as usual. Even though it is an action movie, it was still a really good movie. I would highly recommend that movie, Death Sentence, for sure.
It's from the people who made Saw.
Yes, so that's why it's a little, you'll see more blood and guts than normal. So, so out of all the movie choices this month for you, what have you would have picked?
Well, I picked Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon.
Because honestly, for me, the reason why I picked Lethal Weapon is of all of these, maybe with the exception of Terminator, Terminator being everyone says, Terminator is better. Terminator 2 is better than the first Terminator movie, which is probably true.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah. But of all the movies there, Lethal Weapon actually, I think, has one of the best storylines for one of these lame ball action
That is
movies.
true. I haven't seen Lethal Weapon fully, but every time that I've seen it, it does seem like it has more of a story than the other ones,
And that's what I think, truthfully, it comes down to Mel Gibson. Is one thing, if you looked at his career, he always picks movies that tend to have good stories to them.
Yeah.
Even though if it's some cheese, corny action movie, there's some kind of story to it. Like, when you watch the first Lethal Weapon movie, there's a lot more acting done by him, just him, than you see in most of these like Die Hard movies or anything like that.
Well, Mel Gibson, that's how he is, right?
Yeah.
He's a pretty decent actor. So.
And it's cheesy. He's the cop that takes no names type thing, cornball action movie. But there actually is a little more story into it, and that's why and that's the truth with the other 3 that followed.
Yeah.
Is there is more. There's just a little bit more in a Lethal Weapon movie than there is with your typical cheesy
exactly.
action movie.
Yeah, I picked Die Hard out of the voting because I haven't seen it at the time and I wanted to sit down and watch it, but I watched it recently because I wanted to do this review correctly, and I did like Die Hard, like I said, but the one I would have probably picked after that, just because I love it, because it's so corny, is RoboCop.
Yeah.
Very different. It's a science fiction action movie, still corny. Instead of your cop that kicking ass and taking names, he's a robot. And
Well, it's a cross between the 80s and nowadays.
Exactly.
So instead of your average guy kicking ass, or today where you have your giant robot kicking ass,
Yep.
now you have a guy who's a robot kicking ass.
Exactly. I like RoboCop, the cheesy lines, and I know it's a horrible scene in the movie. If anybody who's seen the RoboCop where the guy gets burnt with acid, for some reason, when he's like that, I find that funny. I don't know why. It's just hilarious. Anyway, I recommend. Yeah, I would recommend any of these movies really to watch at least once because they're all good action movies. Don't expect to get anything huge out of them. Watch them though; they're pretty good. I can't really find anything hugely bad with any of the choices that were for this month.
No.
Like I just really can't see
Well,
anything.
because it's August action, you honestly rate it on the action level and not necessarily the
Yeah,
acting level.
exactly. Yeah, like you're not rating like say if we put like this up against like Schindler's List or
Well, then if it was like against Schindler's List, it wouldn't even be funny.
exactly, exactly.
They're on 2 completely different planes.
Exactly. That's what I mean. So, out of 5 for you, I guess what would you give Die Hard?
I give Die Hard about a 3.9.
3.9. I'm gonna give it let's give it a 3.1.
Oh, you and your kind.
Yeah, I like to do that. I like to buy them. So combined, it makes it a 7 out of 10 rating for us. Decent movie. Go check it out. A lot of people here, especially the guys, like this movie. You'll have fun with it. Whoever hasn't seen it here tonight.